called as Agile model. That we'll understand now. For this also, let me tell you with an example. Let's say you want to develop a phone pay application. Okay, you want to develop a phone pay application. Sir, in phone pay, do you have the option to only do the mobile transactions, money transactions? Do you have only that option? No. You have the mobile recharge, you have the DTH bills you can pay, electricity bills you can pay, credit card bills you can pay. You have multiple features in the same application. In the same application, you have multiple features. Now, in order to develop this phone pay application, in the Agile model, what we usually do is, we will not assign this entire project to a single team. What we will do is, let's say we have different developers working for the project. For each developer, we will give each task. For developer 1, what I will tell is, you do recharge related development page. Whatever page that is related to recharge, you do that development only. For second developer, we will tell that you do only DTH related page. You develop only DTH related page. For third developer, we will tell that you do only electricity charge paying page. We will tell them that way. Now, what will happen here? Simultaneously, every work will be happening. But is it happening in the waterfall model? No. Simultaneous work is not happening in the waterfall model. So what is happening here? The entire project has been divided into multiple parts, and each team is going to work individually on all of these. So that what will happen? You can save the time, which is most important here. Because simultaneously, multiple things in the same application are being developed. This division of the same project into multiple things is called as sprint. Okay, it is called as sprint. Sprint means first thing, sprint 2, next one, sprint 3, next one. Like this, what will happen in sprint 1? This development will happen. That means planning will happen in sprint 1, design will happen in sprint 1, building will happen in sprint 1, testing will happen in sprint 1, reviewing will happen, and finally that will be launched. That is deployed. Like that, what is happening here? Each and every stage is parallelly developing. So that means you can save the time. Now, there is one more advantage that is available here. So now let's say you have completely developed the recharge related page and you have launched it. Okay, you have launched it. Assume that these two are still in the development stage. You have completed this one. Now what you will show? You will launch the application and you will show to the client. You will show to the client. Now when you show to the client will give the feedback on only this one. They cannot give on this one because these are not fully developed. So client will give the feedback on this one. Now client will tell that, okay, this is approved, you can proceed further. But if the client tells that I need some more changes in this one, do you need to disturb the rest of the application development, or do you need to disturb only this one? You have to disturb only this one. That means it's an advantage here. You don't have, if the problem is in the recharge page, you don't have to disturb the entire application. You just have to disturb wherever the problem is there, you just disturb that one and you modify that accordingly. That is the main advantage with the Agile model. Okay, the entire project will be divided into sprints. Sprint means stages. In each sprint, all of these stages will happen. Now let's say developer 1 has completed everything, client is also satisfied. Now what developer 1 will do? Developer 1 will take some other work. Let's say credit card related thing. He will start developing that one. Like this, multiple works will happen parallelly, and here client involvement is less or more. Client involvement is more because at every stage client will get involved. If client is getting involved, obviously the end product will be very good because client is able to see after sprint 1, client is able to see this one. He is telling that, okay, this is approved, you can proceed further. So you don't have to touch this one. That means a continuous feedback you are getting from the client, which is a good thing again. Okay, right. So this model was started in the year 2001 and it was invented by John Kern and Martin Fowler. These are the two people who were working on Agile model and they developed this model, and still we are using this one. For the past 23-24 years, we are still adopting this one, which is the latest one, you can say. Okay, so what happens in this Agile model? We are going to divide the entire project into sprints, and that is why it is called as iterative. Iterative means a cyclic process. Okay, and then the next things that we need to understand is here requirements are not fixed, which we know, and whenever client comes with a new requirement, since requirements are not fixed, what about the cost? cost will also be high. Okay, cost will also be high. And we will get the continuous feedback from the client also. If you get the continuous feedback from the client, obviously the end project will be very, very good. There is no problem with that. So this is about the Agile model. So what are the advantages of Agile model? The first one is quick delivery of the project. You can develop the project and you can deliver the project to the client within a faster pace when you compare with the waterfall model. The next one is client satisfaction will be very high. Okay, client satisfaction will be very high. Why? Because client is getting involved at each and every stage. So client will obviously get satisfied. And then the adaptability and flexibility will be there for the project. Whenever you want to change anything, you can change. There is a flexibility to change. And there is also an adaptability to adapt to the new requirements of the client. So flexibility and adaptability is there in the Agile model. And then there are different teams that are working all together here. Parallelly, multiple works are going to happen. And then it is a client will be able to see how the project is being developed. Let's say you want to construct a house. As an owner, what you will do, you will get to know what is the plan, what materials they are using, how they are constructing. That means client is involving at each and every stage of the project. Client is involving at each and every stage of the project. So obviously the house will be good. That means the project will be good. And the last advantage is there is a continuous improvement for the project. What does it mean by continuous improvement? Continuous improvement is whenever client comes with a new idea, you have to understand the new idea, you have to develop that new idea, and you have to deploy that new idea into the same application. Okay, so this is how the Agile model will be helpful in the real-time scenarios. Yeah, Agile model is basically different small waterfall models, but again, you cannot call them as a waterfall model because typically it's not the right way to call. But for your understanding, Vaibhav, if you want to call, yeah, that won't be any issue. But when you are explaining in the interviews, you cannot tell that Agile model is a small parts of the waterfall models. You cannot tell that. Okay, whatever explanation that I have given so far, if you tell that, that is more than fine. So I hope it's clear what is meant by Agile model and waterfall model. Okay, so Agile model is a set of principles and practices for software development that emphasizes iterative development, continuous improvement, and adoption to the new requirements. In Agile model, what we'll do, we'll divide the entire project into sprint. In each sprint, multiple developers will be working. Client involvement will be very high. Since client involvement will be very high, you will get the continuous feedback from the clients, and the client satisfaction will also be very high. Yeah, each sprint may not have the R&D team. R&D team for project, only one R&D team will be there, one testing team will be there. Operations team also only one. Only here we are talking about the developers. Multiple developers will work on the same thing. There will be teams. Teams will be there. In a team is not only one person. Team can be 5 or 6 people also. So each person we will allocate each work.